My best friend, Sophia Carter, was pregnant with twins. But during her pregnancy, she secretly met up with her ex-boyfriend, Liam Anderson, to go racing. She lied to her husband, Ethan Miller, claiming that she was with me, Emily Johnson. The result? During the race, their car swerved, causing her to suffer a miscarriage. As if that wasn't bad enough, after the incident, her family stormed into my house in the middle of the night and attacked me and my family while we were sleeping. Now I've been reborn. Back to the day Sophia decided to meet Liam. This time, things will be different. On that day, Ethan Miller, her husband, called me furious. "Emily, the entire Carter family has been attacked. Where's Sophia? She told me she was with you at the water park. Are you aware that she's pregnant with twins? If anything happens to her, you and your entire family won't be able to pay the price." I calmly replied, "Oh? She told you she was with me. I've been at work all day discussing a project. I haven't seen her." Hearing my coworkers talking in the background about documents and meeting deadlines, Ethan paused. Then he became furious. "That lying woman, she tricked me again. Just wait until I find her. I'll teach her a lesson." Ethan was known for his deep love for his wife, but was also notorious for his violent temper. He hung up the phone in a rage. Not long after, I received a call from Sophia. In my previous life, I had foolishly helped her when she called, crying for my assistance. But this time, I refused. "Emily, please help me. I only met him this once. Please cover for me just this once," Sophia begged. I replied coldly, "Sophia, you're married. You should know better than to meet your ex-boyfriend in secret, especially when you know how suspicious Ethan is." Instead of admitting her mistakes, she started accusing me of not being a good friend. "Aren't we best friends? Why are you being so heartless?" Remembering how she had manipulated me in my past life, under the guise of friendship, I felt nothing but disdain. In that life, I had blindly agreed to her requests, thinking I was helping a friend, only for her to let Ethan blame me for everything. He even beat me to death because of her lies. This time, I swore I wouldn't interfere in her mess. I would stand back and watch her and her family face the consequences they deserved. As I finished work and was driving home, I noticed Ethan Miller and his younger sister, Chloe Miller, standing near the entrance of my neighborhood. Chloe spotted my car and dashed in front of it, forcing me to stop. "Ethan, I found her. She's right here," Chloe shouted loudly, attracting the attention of everyone nearby. Ethan strode toward me with a menacing expression. "Sophia isn't answering my calls anymore. Tell me, Emily, what should I do now? Where is she?" I stared at him, baffled. "How would I know where she is? She's your wife. If she's gone missing, you should be looking for her, not me." Ethan's face turned red with anger. "Don't act innocent. You two are best friends. How could you not know where she is? And don't forget, Sophia is pregnant. If anything happens to her, you'll pay for it." Ethan's paranoia was legendary. In my previous life, no matter what Sophia did, he always found a way to excuse her actions and place the blame on someone else, usually me. And now, his baseless accusations were beginning to stir up a crowd around us. Unable to contain his anger, Ethan whipped out his phone and started a live stream. "Look at this woman. She lives in this fancy neighborhood, drives this expensive car, and yet claims she's just an ordinary office worker. Tell me, how does someone like her afford all this?" His sister Chloe chimed in, pointing at me mockingly. "This lady is clearly being kept by someone rich. There's no other way she could afford this lifestyle." Their accusations and the growing whispers from the crowd were infuriating. "If you two keep this nonsense up, I'll call the police," I said firmly. But Ethan wasn't intimidated. Instead, he intensified his harassment, shoving his phone closer to my face as the live stream comments poured in. "Go ahead, call the police. I've got nothing to hide. Let everyone see what kind of person you really are." The situation spiraled further out of control when Chloe spotted my handbag. "Oh, is that a designer bag? How much is that worth?" "Hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands." she sneered. She turned to the live stream audience and declared, "If someone sends 10 Lamborghini gifts, I'll burn this bag right here." It didn't take long for the viewers to start flooding the live stream with virtual gifts. Chloe, fueled by their cheers, grabbed my handbag and set it on fire. The flames quickly spread as Chloe accidentally dropped the burning bag onto my car. My car's interior, including a jacket I had left inside, caught fire almost instantly. Panicked, Chloe screamed and ran off, leaving Ethan standing there in shock. The security guards rushed to put out the flames as I called the police. The damage was extensive, and my car was completely ruined. When the police arrived, Ethan tried to downplay the incident. "Officer, this is all a misunderstanding. We were just trying to expose her lies and clean up the community." His blatant lies and arrogant attitude made the officers visibly annoyed. To make matters worse, he even attempted to bribe them with a pack of cigarettes. "You'd better start explaining properly," one officer said sternly. "This isn't the kind of behavior we tolerate." Realizing his usual tricks wouldn't work, Ethan backed down, but not before glaring at me with a look that promised more trouble. The next day, I submitted the repair bills for my car and handbag to the police. The total damage was over $10,000, a significant sum even for someone like Ethan. While I was at the police station, Sophia Carter finally showed up, trying to stay hidden behind the officers. She looked nervous and avoided meeting anyone's gaze. Despite her attempts to stay quiet, Ethan's temper exploded the moment he saw her. "Where have you been? Do you know how much trouble you've caused me?" he yelled. Sophia tried to calm him down, tears streaming down her face. "Ethan, please, let's talk about this at home. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." Her pitiful display might have fooled others, but not me. In my previous life, I had seen her play the victim far too many times. This time, I wouldn't let her manipulate the narrative. "Officer," I said firmly, "these two not only caused extensive property damage, but also publicly defamed me. I have all the evidence, including footage from my building's security cameras and the live stream they conducted. I want to press charges." Sophia turned to me with a desperate look. "Emily, we're friends. How can you do this to me?" I couldn't help but laugh. "Friends? Sophia, if you really valued our friendship, you wouldn't have thrown me under the bus last time, letting Ethan beat me half to death. If you think you can manipulate me again, you're wrong." Ethan's younger sister, Chloe, chimed in, trying to deflect the blame. "This is all a misunderstanding. Emily, you're overreacting. My brother and Sophia didn't mean any harm." I pointed to the scorch marks on my car keys and the burnt remains of my handbag. "Misunderstanding? Tell that to the evidence. You destroyed my property and publicly humiliated me. Don't think you can just talk your way out of this." Sophia, realizing her usual tactics weren't working, fell to her knees and begged, "Emily, please, don't do this. Think of our years of friendship. My children." I interrupted her sharply. "Friendship? You mean the same friendship that led you to frame me for your own mistakes. Don't talk to me about loyalty when you've shown none." Ethan, clearly irritated by her groveling, grabbed Sophia by the arm and pulled her to her feet. "Stop crying. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for this mess." He turned to the police. "I'll pay for the damages, but this whole situation is ridiculous." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Pay for the damages, fine. But you're also being charged with harassment and public disturbance. The live stream you started has caused quite a stir, and we've received multiple complaints." As the police escorted Ethan, Sophia, and Chloe out, I could see the fury in Ethan's eyes. He wasn't used to losing, and I knew this wouldn't be the end of it. Later that evening, I received a text message from an unknown number. "Emily Johnson, watch your back. This isn't over." I saved the message as evidence, knowing it had to be from Sophia or Ethan. They had always underestimated me, but this time, I wouldn't let them walk all over me. In the following days, I began noticing strange things. Wherever I went, it felt like someone was watching me. At first, I thought it was my imagination, but then I caught Sophia sneaking around near my office building. She was holding her phone, pretending to be on a call, but her eyes were glued to me. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she put on a pitiful expression and said, "Emily, I'm pregnant, and Ethan is furious with me. I'm scared of what he might do. I just want to talk to you and explain everything." Her crocodile tears no longer had any effect on me. "If you're so scared, why don't you go home and deal with your husband instead of stalking me?" I snapped, walking away, but Sophia wasn't done. A few days later, she staged a public scene. She waited for me outside my apartment and dramatically threw herself to the ground, clutching her belly and screaming, "Help!" She pushed me. Passers-by stopped to watch, some pulling out their phones to record. I stood there, frozen, in disbelief. "Are you kidding me, Sophia? I didn't even touch you." She cried louder, "Someone call an ambulance. She's trying to kill me and my baby." Her performance was so over the top that even the bystanders began to doubt her. One older woman muttered, "She's acting a bit too much, don't you think?" Another added, "I saw the whole thing. That young lady didn't touch her." The police arrived shortly after, and Sophia's act fell apart. Security footage from the building showed her throwing herself to the ground without any contact from me. Embarrassed, she quickly changed her story, claiming she had slipped and fallen. The officers warned her against making false accusations and advised me to file a restraining order. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, my workplace became a new battleground. Rumors about me started spreading among my colleagues. People whispered behind my back, and even my manager, Mr. Wilson, began acting strangely. One morning, he called me into his office. As soon as I stepped inside, he closed the door, pulled the blinds, and gave me a sleazy grin. "Emily, you've been working here for 2 years now. I think it's time we talked about your future." I frowned, sensing his inappropriate tone. "If this is about work, I'd appreciate a professional discussion." He leaned closer. "Don't play hard to get, Emily. A beautiful woman like you doesn't need to waste her time working so hard. If you stick with me, I can make sure you never have to worry about anything again." His disgusting insinuation made my blood boil. Without a second thought, I punched him square in the face, sending him tumbling to the floor. "You've crossed the line, Mr. Wilson. Don't ever try this again," I said, standing over him. Clutching his nose, he yelled, "You'll regret this. I'll make sure you're fired." Before he could get up, I kicked his phone off the desk, where it displayed several altered photos of me. My heart sank as I realized the source of the rumors. Sophia must have provided these fabricated images. "Don't worry about firing me," I said coldly. "I'll be reporting this to HR and the police." As I left the office, I felt both furious and determined. This time, I wouldn't let anyone bully or threaten me. Sophia and her accomplices would pay for everything they'd done. After the incident with Mr. Wilson, I contacted my cousin, Rachel, who specialized in online marketing and reputation management. I explained everything to her, from the rumors at work to Sophia's relentless harassment. "Don't worry, Emily," Rachel assured me. "I'll handle this. In the meantime, avoid going out unnecessarily and document everything." Taking her advice, I stayed home for the next few days, but trouble found me anyway. One evening, there was a knock at my door. Thinking it was a delivery, I opened it without much thought. To my shock, a man dressed as a delivery driver barged in. Attempting to lock the door behind him, I acted on instinct, slapping him hard enough to make him stumble, then landed a punch that knocked him out cold. Before I could process what had just happened, Sophia and Ethan appeared, their phones already out and live streaming. "We caught her," Sophia shouted gleefully. "Look at this. Emily's secret is finally exposed." Their audacity left me speechless. "Are you insane?" I snapped. "You brought a stranger here to attack me just for your sick entertainment." Sophia leaned closer, whispering just out of earshot of the live stream. "It's simple, Emily. Pay us $10,000 to cover my medical bills, and another $15,000 to delete everything on the internet about you. Otherwise, this only gets worse." Her boldness was infuriating, but I stayed calm. "You want me to pay you? Fine. but only if you provide a written agreement that you'll leave me alone afterward. Sophia's eyes lit up at the prospect of money. Of course, I'll draft it right away. However, Ethan, clearly suspicious, intervened. Wait, Sophia, don't trust her. This could be a trap. Sophia dismissed his concerns and quickly scribbled out a makeshift agreement. Here, sign this, and we'll call it even, she said, practically drooling over the money she expected to receive. I pretended to agree, but discreetly called the building security. Moments later, they arrived with the police, catching Sophia, Ethan, and their accomplice red-handed. The police reviewed the live stream and noted Sophia's attempt to extort money from me, coupled with the man's forced entry into my apartment. I provided additional evidence, including screenshots of threatening messages and security footage from previous incidents. As the officers handcuffed them, Sophia screamed, "You'll regret this, Emily. You're ruining my life." Ethan, meanwhile, tried to play the victim. "Officer, we were only trying to protect our family. She's been targeting us for months." The officer wasn't buying it. "Targeting you? The evidence shows otherwise. You've been harassing her relentlessly. Save your excuses for the judge." As they were escorted away, I felt a sense of relief. For the first time, I saw a glimmer of justice. Later, I learned that Ethan's violent temper had landed him in jail before, and this incident ensured he would spend many more years behind bars. As for Sophia, her pregnancy couldn't save her from facing charges of harassment and attempted extortion. Chloe, too, was implicated in the live stream chaos, further tarnishing their family's reputation. Months passed, and life gradually returned to normal. The rumors at work died down, thanks to Rachel's efforts to clear my name online. Mr. Wilson was fired after HR investigated my complaint, and I received a heartfelt apology from the company's leadership. Sophia and Ethan's downfall became a cautionary tale in our community. Their once glamorous image was replaced by the reality of their selfishness and deceit. People who had once sided with them began to see the truth. Standing on my balcony one evening, I looked out at the city lights and took a deep breath. The nightmare was finally over. I had stood my ground, fought back against those who sought to harm me, and emerged stronger than ever. This wasn't just a story of betrayal. It was a story of resilience, justice, and reclaiming my life. Thank you for listening to today's gripping story. If you enjoyed this tale of betrayal, revenge, and justice, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Your support helps us create more amazing stories every day. And remember, subscribe to Tiny Storytime and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. See you in the next one.